And by the way, I should have said that we have some of the artists whose work was exhibited in the exhibition here. So I see there John Klima, and we'll be talking about his work. So hopefully, any questions, you can also direct them to him. I'm sure that he'll be happy to address them. So let's talk for a second about the capital markets. According to the news, the average bonus this year for the employees of Goldman Sachs was $535,000. Now, anybody has some sympathy for these guys? All right. I mean, they work hard. They work hard. But even though one might think that people on Wall Street don't need any artists glorifying their work or making claims that what they do is artistic, we actually think differently. So what you see here in the photograph is the derivatives trading floor of international securities. This is the bank where I did my dissertation. I am an economic sociologist. And I should have said before that Mar is a web designer and Jesus is an artist, fine artist. In Spain we say artista plástico. He has been introducing himself here as plastic artist. People think he has art with plastic. It's not the case. It's okay. So anyways, but my research in my dissertation was about these guys over here. And what struck me on the first day that I arrived to the trading room to interview these people is that you would think that you're going to find these traders shouting and gesticulating and sweating and being stressed and being very masculine and driven by their bonuses and everything. So the first day that I went to the trading room, to my surprise, I saw quiet place, nice people, not fighting with each other. Some of them sipping coffee by the computer. And so, first thing I thought is, oh my God, this is just not a real trading room. In fact, it was the opposite. What happens is that this is the real trading rooms right now. And the story of Wall Street is the story of how technology has taken over. They call it the quantitative revolution. The simultaneous introduction of formulas, of high-power computers, derivatives, and of course electronic markets. So what you see there on the screens, maybe not so much here, but maybe over there, is just this constellation of colors and images. Squares, circles, triangles, green, blue, red. And each screen is different. There are no two screens alike. So I asked the manager of the trading room, what is this? And he said, well, this is the way we look at the market. This is where we find the opportunities. So I understood right there that there is an aesthetic component to the capital markets that have not, to my knowledge, been explored so far. And so what we did is we put together, Jesus, Mar and I, a proposal to create an exhibition about art and finance. So we sent a proposal to a Spanish bank, which is like the regular tickers that you see on Times Square, where you have the names of the stocks and the price. Only instead of the name of the stocks, what you have here is issues. Issues that the NGOs are dealing with, such as the dialogue North-South, anti-globalization, or in French, mondialization, etc. And what you can do is you can look at issues in all England, all France, all Germany. This is back the distinction between New Europe and all Europe. And so what it does is it adds the movement and it adds the dynamism that the stock ticker does to the stocks, but it does that to issues, and it's a tool that NGOs and activists can use to promote participation and activism. Moving on to the next one. This one is a piece by Natalie Jeremijenko. It's called Despondency Index. I don't know if she's in the room. She there? Okay. All right, so I don't have to worry then. So the Despondency Index charts the evolution of the Dow Jones between 1999 and 2002. And it sort of like shows the rise and then the fall of the internet bubble. But what it does is that it mixes there on these vertical lines all the instances where she registered a suicide at the Golden Gate Bridge. Now the suicides, she developed the data herself. She had something like a webcam device, a missile detector, to detect vertical movements. And she had some problems with the seagulls messing up the data, but she corrected for the seagulls, and she really has the suicides. And so the point of the exhibition is the point of the installation is to show, to question the correlation between the health of the country as measured by the Dow Jones, especially after 9/11, everybody was talking about the Dow Jones and the country's doing well, it's not doing well, and show that in fact it is uncorrelated to the frequency of suicides. So it's a really interesting piece that talks about indexes and the nature of indexes and what they are and what they mean. And indexes, for those of you who are not index freaks, are a really interesting piece. What they do is they create an economic entity out of nothing. So before the Dow Jones existed, in 1910, you could not talk about the market because there wasn't a way to measure the market. So after the Dow Jones was developed, you could say, well, the Dow Jones went up, so the market went up. And then as you continue doing that, you can then do the index of the performance of the socially responsible companies. And you can show that in fact they overperform the general market. So indexes and what goes in and what goes out is a really interesting piece. Moving on to the next. What we have here is a sound installation. What I'm showing is a photograph of the photograph that we had at the background. And the photograph is by Carolina Miranda, and we found it on Flickr. We emailed her, and she was very cool, and she let us use it. So what you see on the photograph on the back is the floor of the New York Mercantile Exchange, where they trade commodities like oil, like copper, like etc. And then the sound piece, we're gonna see, we can listen to it now, is by Ben Rubin, and what it does is it's live recordings from the trading pits of the NYMEX, of the Commodities Exchange.
Cotton, 45.90. Orange juice, gold, silver,
prices of the commodities. These are the traders.
Sometimes I say to people, did you hear me bidding? And I know if they say, I didn't hear you, I know they're not telling me the truth. Because people always hear my voice. It's unique and it's a strong voice too. If I'm selling a
So anyway, what the piece does is it shows some interviews for pit traders, what it means to trade in a pit, and how their bodily features reflect themselves in the prices and the features, in the properties of the stocks and in the transactions. Moving on to the next, what we have here is Ecosystem, a piece by John Klimak, who's right here. And what this is, it's a 3D visual representation of the market data. What you see here is the prices of different currencies before the euro, so the sterling, the Deutsche Mark, the French franc, the yen, the dollar. Each of them represented by one of these birds, these strange primitive birds. And what the user does is an interactive installation. The user has a gamepad, and he or she can control the movement and get closer, move around, and change the setting. And what you're really seeing here is with these birds flying, you're really seeing, you're visualizing the volatility in the market. So volatility, like flying, is presented as these animals that are in fact flying. This is the first piece of